that global hawks haven't been useful. Yes, it's been helpful in search and rescue missions, but the Pentagon has thousands of drones. According to P.J. Singer, there are some 7,000 drones in the military arsenal. Do we really need any more drones? No. Lockheed Martin, another war profiteer whose board members are known to have a presence here at Bohemian Grove, whose hands are dripping with blood from the murder of innocent civilians who have died from the Hellfire missile strikes. Lockheed Martin is the maker of the Hellfire missile, which is outfitted onto a Predator and Reaper drone and launched onto unknown targets, killing innocents, women and children and others. Here we find ourselves faced again as U.S. taxpayers, paying $50,000, $60,000, or $100,000 for each Hellfire missile. Yes, we're fueling the war machine, and fueling it has a price, but what is the result? Thousands of innocent lives lost in Somalia, in Pakistan, in Yemen, in countries we aren't even at war with. Innocent lives, like the life of 16-year-old boy named Tariq Aziz in Pakistan, who attended a jirga in his country to meet the great human rights lawyer, Clive Stafford Smith. Tariq described that American drones would circle his home all day before unleashing Hellfire missiles, often in the dark hours between midnight and dawn. Death lurked everywhere, he said. In Clive's meeting with Tariq and others in Pakistan, he said he needed physical proof that civilians were being killed by drone strikes so he could take it back to the United States, so he can tell us, the American citizens, that this is what's happening, this is what we're paying for. At the end of the meeting, Tariq stepped up forward and volunteered to get the physical proof that was needed. A couple of days later, Tariq and his 12-year-old son were killed by a CIA drone strike. A 12-year-old and a 16-year-old whose lives would come to an end by a Hellfire missile made by Lockheed Martin. And why isn't this in the news? Why aren't we hearing about this issue? The media's role in the drone wars is very reminiscent of the media selling the Iraq war to the American people. A lack of investigative journalism, a fear or willingness to question the White House and the Pentagon. Again, we see the media being complicit in selling us a war based on lies. We also see Washington, D.C. based think tanks selling the war based on lies to us also. It's been recently reported that CNN posted a bogus graphic indicating that there were 0 innocent civilians killed this year by CIA drone strikes. The bogus graphic came from Washington think tank, the New America Foundation. The New America Foundation backs up its claim, saying that civilian deaths have declined since 2008, bringing the civilian deaths for this year close to 0. Close to 0? Really? As being the only game in town, the activist community knows that under President Obama, drone strikes have increased. The activist community knows that civilian casualties have increased. It's the only game in town. The Bureau of Investigative Journalism has done extensive research. With the U.S. military unable to operate in Pakistan, the Obama administration has come to rely heavily on drone strikes. To date, at least 250 drone strikes have been ordered in Obama's name. At least 1,897 people have been reported killed in the Obama strikes. Most of them militants, yes. Recently, Obama's chief counterterrorism advisor, John Brennan, stated that the president has insisted that Pakistan drone strikes do not put innocent men and women and children in danger. Yet, at least 225 of those killed in drone attacks in Obama's time in office may have been civilians. CIA drone strikes have led to be far more deaths in Pakistan than previously understood. Some 175 children are among at least 2,034 people reported killed in the U.S. attacks since 2004. There are credible reports of at least 392 civilians among the dead. Civilian casualties do seem to have declined in the past year, yet the Bureau still found credible evidence of at least 45 civilians killed in some tent strikes in this time. The U.S. continues to insist that it can't confirm any non-combatant casualties in the past year. The U.S. continues to say we do not do body counts. Now I want to tell you about a man I met a few months ago.